Hello and welcome everybody to 1964. In 1964, Arnold Palmer won the Masters. Was he using Wilson equipment at the time? He came out with his own equipment in the 60s, but I believe at the time he was using something similar to an Ironmaster putter or a Wilson 8802 and Wilson equipment. And if we roll the clock back, in 1957, Ben Hogan, who famously, at a young age, was not the best ball striker, but out of sheer will and practice became one of the best ball strikers on the planet. In 57, he started manufacturing golf clubs with just this will to produce the best irons on the planet, to a point of throwing away everything that wasn't. Now, in 1964, AMF owns the Hogan brand, okay? They signed some great agreement where he would play, as like their pro to further their name, okay? So in 1960, AMF acquired the Hogan brand. And that's, 4 years after they produced this, with Ben Hogan still on payroll, still playing. This is a lovely, lovely iron, which seems to hold up well to the test of time. Let's get this on the review table and talk about some identifying features. Identification isn't a problem. It says it right here. PT3 right here, the toe side, sole side of the aft portion of the club. There's this little gold line, PT Roman numeral 3 with an arrow on the other side of it. It looks like an arrow passing through those letters. Then we have this lovely medallion, which is accented by this like line pattern, this red in between these two blue lines, blue, red, blue lines with the medallion here, Ben Hogan's autograph etched in this lovely forged steel. Very pretty. This is a blade on blade design, which, several Hogans have. So kind of a blade, then it steps down to a thin top line and a thin toe line, square toe. The sole, you can see the iron number, in this case, the 6 iron. You can see a little plus right there. I don't see any offset on this. This just looks like a straight up iron. You can see the toe profile right here. It looks as you would expect. Heel profile, very similar, just kind of what you expect. No major offset here at all. The grooves cover a huge percentage of the face, which I like, considering this is a pretty compact little head here. Kind of a squarish top line, but it's really thin. It looks very appealing. Yeah, and that's the spin around the head. As we move up the hosel, you can see the shaft is pinned. There is some, I don't want to call it knurling because it's just vertical lines. It's more like cosmetic crimping. Knurling is traditionally like the crosshash pattern, checkering, like knurling. So I don't know what to call that. Call it knurling if you want, but I describe it as a cosmetic crimping here. This looks like the numbering system that Ben Hogan has. I call it the serial number. And then to complement the blue, red, blue lines on the aft portion, on the ferrule, it's red, blue, red. Very lovely. Very good. And then let's spin this around so you can see the shaft here. It's a steel shaft with this accelerated pattern where the accelerated steps here, stepped steel shaft. Ben Hogan, this is the N-Flex, which is the extra stiff flex shaft, I think. If I grab this and try to flex it, yeah, let's describe that as extra stiff. 1964, I put the sticker on here just so I can remember. I have a lot of vintage clubs. And look at the spiral pattern grip right here. Very lovely. As we spin around to the front of it, you can see the Ben Hogan seal on it. So this is the Ben Hogan grip. If you read the butt right here, it does say Golf Pride and then Hogan in the inner circle right here, and a patent down here. So lovely Ben Hogan proprietary grip made for Ben Hogan by Golf Pride. So absolutely lovely iron. I'm excited to get this out on the range and see how it feels. Hogan PT3. This is an interesting, fun era in the 60s with everything going on in the golf world. And
this is when Hogan really started to make a name for itself. I mean, looking down at this, I can just tell you right now, looks like a pretty compact, short little iron here. It looks like all the makings of what you would expect from the Hogan brand, who's reflecting the personality of Ben Hogan, who is the quintessential hard-earned ball striker. So yeah, looking down at it, the word I would describe is kind of more square and small. But yeah, the shaft, and this is just, it looks difficult. The grip is hard, small head. We'll see what comes out. Obviously, distances would be, you know, you're going to see distances on the simulator, but let's see what we can get out of this lovely itty-bitty little Ben Hogan here. That was a little fadey. Yeah, the same shape coming out of that one. Interesting. Questions about lie and all sorts of fitting issues here. So with that said, I want a slightly stronger grip and do the exact same thing. And slightly pulley. Yeah, this is something that you could totally work and dial in. Landed by the 150 marker. Again, measurements incoming on the simulator. Okay, so that same thing, but I'm going to do more of let's actually go back to my original grip with more of an into-out thought. There we go. Massive draw. Oh man. My default is a little dry, and that obviously went very dry. So Hogan PT3s, I mean, when you're talking about like the quintessential blade, this has got to be it in the 60s. Can you think of anything better in the 60s? I know McGregor was coming out with their ceramic-faced irons and all sorts of fun things. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts about these lovely irons in the comments below.
This feels exactly how I want a blade to feel. The sound is amazing. The feel is amazing. The feedback is amazing. Everything about it is just like, what did I just hit? How come it's so easy to use? And in my idea, okay, this is just this idealistic world. You don't need a big club to play golf. Ideally, right? Ideally, your swing will just be perfect. You're Ben Hogan. You can nail that dead square of the center of gravity every time. It doesn't matter where it is on the club, and you're going to be 2 feet away from every single hole, one putt. Does that ever happen? No, I don't think that's ever happened, but it feels like it could. And with these irons, in particular, they call to me, right? Some clubs are like, come play golf. This idealistic world is like, you can do it. You get out there and at the end of 18 holes, you're just battered. You know, I know how it feels. You're just like, oh man, I am not perfect. The clubs did exactly what they output what I input exactly. But oh my goodness, this calls to me more than maybe anything else. It's a combination of things. It's not just the narrow blade. It's also the looks. The Hogan name just there, bam, with the medallion. Not only the medallion, but we're going to just drape this color over it. And it looks like there's a part of me that likes being seen. I have YouTube channels, for Pete's sake. I mean, what more do I need to say? And this club calls to me more than anything else. I have a set of these and I'm excited to play them. It might not be in the super near future, hopefully not in the too distant future, but hopefully I can get this out on some course vlog or something, a set of these. They're lovely. And it'll be a struggle for me to play even 9 holes with these, but it's totally worth it, you know? So by comparison, okay, if I'm going to go out and say these are the best irons ever made, there are some, question marks there. It's been 60 years. It has been 60 years since these came out. Exactly. 60 years. It's 2024 at the making of this video. This came out in 1964. 60 years. And to claim that this is one of the best irons ever made, that's a statement. Okay, so let's just do a quick comparison here. I just grabbed a Mizuno. I don't even know which one. MP68, okay? MP68 Mizuno blade, 6-iron, 6-iron, okay? Look at this, okay? Putting them down like this, which one is, I hit Mizunos further than I hit the Ben Hogan PT3s. Why is that, do you think? Oh, look, they're longer. Oh, look, the shafts are longer. And the lofts are a little different. Somebody from marketing took the engineer's lunch money and was like, that's not a 6-iron, or that's not a 5-iron, put a 6 on it. And the engineers were like, okay, boss, just don't hurt me, you know? And so now the 5-iron is the 6-iron. Look at this. Well, okay. You know, and you look at this, Mizuno, okay, I love Mizuno. Don't hear what I'm not saying. Mizuno is one of my favorite all-time irons on the planet, but you look at this iron compared to this iron, this one looks bulbous. You know, it's round. Some people love the round look. I do too, but there's a place in my heart for vintage square clubs. I love this club. And so, you know, you look at these and you're like, and just, if you look closely, this bulbous little toe does stick out a little bit further. When you line these up, it does stick out a little bit further than the Hogan. All right, it's a little bit bigger, not a big deal, right? But in this idealistic world of you don't need big, this takes the cake. So to say that this club is better than the Mizuno, I can't do. But this blade, 60-year-old blade, is as good as modern blades. I can't think of a better compliment. I can't think higher praise can be given. It's the Ben Hogan PT3, one of my all-time favorites, regardless of any of that. But what's more important than my opinion is your opinion. Let us know your thoughts about the Ben Hogan PT3 in the comments below. As usual, huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Another way you can support the channel is my Amazon shop. I'll put a link in the description below. I am an Amazon associate. I make proceeds from qualifying purchases. Thank you everybody for watching. I am the Vintage Golfer.